Today, we're going to talk about what might be the most disgusting scientific study ever done and why it proves you should always trust your gut.
Life is beautiful.
This study is mind-boggling. So they bring people into a lab, they split them up into two groups, and they put them in sweatsuits. Now they have half of these people go onto a treadmill and sweat their asses off while they run as fast as they can. And then they have the other group go up into planes, skydiving, scared shitless from the fear of jumping out of that plane. So that was sweat from skydiving, that was sweat from running on the treadmill. They take all the sweat from these people, put them into little containers, and send them to another lab where they have unsuspecting victims, unsuspecting participants, I should call them, go into these fMRI machines where their brains are getting scanned as they go and smell this substance that they have no idea is actual human sweat.
Pretty messed up.
Pretty fucked up. So they go and smell this sweat, and something really interesting happens. Everyone who smells the skydiving sweat has an activation in their own amygdala, their own fear response triggered. In other words, when they smelled the fear sweat, they didn't know why, but they began to feel afraid. Whereas everyone who smelled the treadmill sweat had no change in their brain whatsoever.
Wow.
So what this means is that, yes, we can, look at people's facial expressions and their body language and their vocal cues and all that, and our conscious mind is picking up this information. But there's something chemically happening with the people around us. So when we say like, oh yeah, I can feel that person's energy, it's not woo-woo. You're basically, your nervous system, your subconscious mind is picking up chemical information, really intricate chemical information that your conscious mind could never have the intelligence to do.
Wow.
So that is why we should always trust our gut.
Yeah. I love the science behind this. There's a guy who wrote an entire book about this called The Gift of Fear. This dude named Gavin DeBecker. And he tells a story about this woman who was attacked in an apartment building. And during the investigation, she said she felt uneasy when she got into the elevator and saw a man standing there. But everything looked normal on the outside, right? The guy was dressed fine. He smiled. He was polite. But something, like I said, felt off. And she overrode that feeling because she wanted to be polite. And she got in the elevator and she ended up getting attacked. And when this guy did a study on victims of these attacks, he found this theme over and over again where these women or these people that were attacked had a gut feeling before the attack.
Yeah, I believe it. I feel like we get these gut feelings and we tend to override them because our brain, I feel like the gut feelings that we get are usually like just like the first study about fear, right?
Mm.
They're trying to warn us of
Something feels off.
Something feels off. Exactly. So like you get the gut feeling when you're in a relationship that you're not supposed to be in. Like I had that gut feeling for years and years and years.
Mhm.
And my mind would override that gut feeling because it felt like I don't want to dive into that fear. I don't want to accept the fear that comes with listening to that gut feeling. So we override it, like that lady was trying to be polite. We override it, but to our own demise, right? Because the gut feeling is so much more intelligent than our tiny little brains and our tiny little conscious minds. There is so much deeper intelligence to tap into.
Mm.
And we can't ignore those gut feelings. And even when me and you go to conferences and shit, right? We'll
Yeah.
meet people and you have a crazy gut like meter. Like you're the people guy in this business where you'll tell me like, I don't know what it is, but I just don't like that guy. And I'll be like, really? I actually,
Hey, it's not that I don't like. I never say I don't like.
No,
It's
no.
I have an off feeling about
basically
that.
you say like there's something, yeah, you basically tell me like there's something off about him. It's best to probably like avoid getting intermixed with this person,
Yeah.
right? It's best to keep a distance from this person because you just have this gut feeling. And I'll sit there and I'll be like, really, I don't feel anything. So you
Mhm.
have a crazy spidey sense. And I feel like people have different levels of it. But everyone has this superpower and
Yeah.
everyone should tap into it.
For
And
sure.
everyone should stop overriding it because like the science is proving, it's not just like an energy spiritual thing. It's like there is science here. This is chemical information that your nervous system is picking up. That's
Yeah.
really what's going on here.
Yeah. There's a great Eckhart Tolle quote that is perfectly summarizes this. If there is an apparent conflict between the mind and the body, between what you think and what you feel, the thought will be the lie, the emotion will be the truth.
Mm. Yeah, that's powerful. basically trust your body over your mind, because your mind is always going to try to keep you safe and talk you into the
Yeah.
safe way.
I
the
mean, think
easy
about when you're anxious, what thoughts are being produced in your head,
way.
right?
So I wanted to find a story where basically someone trusted their gut and then ended up trusted their gut despite all the data saying that they shouldn't,
Yeah.
and then how that ended up turning out for them. And I found this really fascinating story about this guy, Dr. Barry Marshall, that lived in Australia.
Okay.
So, for decades, every doctor in the world agreed that stomach ulcers were caused by stress and spicy food. That was what all the data said. That was what the science said. But this guy was a young doctor in Australia who became convinced that bacteria was actually the real cause of the ulcers, not stress or food. So, he presented his data to all these senior gastro doctors, and literally they laughed him out of the room. They basically said, this is absolute bullshit. It's stress and it's food. So he does something absolutely insane. He had this gut feeling that he was right, that it was definitely bacteria, even though the data said otherwise. So he couldn't get approval to test his theory on humans. He grabs a petri dish full of bacteria and drinks it himself just to prove his concept. He got violently sick, develops gastritis, biopsies his own stomach, proves the bacteria was there, proves it caused the disease, and cured himself with antibiotics. In 2005, he won the Nobel Prize and saved millions of lives, and every ulcer treatment in the world changed because this one guy trusted his gut, literally.
Wow.
Isn't that a cool story?
That's a great story.
You got to ignore the data sometimes and just trust that gut feeling. And I think I really want to wrap this up with the how, right? How do you get better at trusting your gut? And I'll ask you that. How have you gotten better at this? I feel like we both have the same answer.
I think it's getting better at knowing the difference between your mind and your gut
And
as
how,
first.
how do you do that?
And the way you get better at that is really spending more time in stillness and silence.
Yeah.
And I think that allows you to separate the noise from the signal. The noise is all the thoughts in your head that are being produced. The signal is that feeling within you that you know deep down what to do.
And the only way to get to that signal is to find stillness underneath the noise.
Yes.
And the only way to do that, in our opinion, is through a meditation practice.
Yeah.
And so call to action is a back-to-back shameless plug for today.
Nice.
Is to sign up for our free 5-day meditation course, where in just 5 minutes a day, you'll be able to really tap into that stillness and tap into your body's intelligence. And you'll see, just from 5 minutes of being still, you'll tap into that deeper intelligence that is in there. That's why I love meditation so much, because it's gotten me so much better at trusting my gut, trusting that intuition, that deeper intelligence.
Yeah.
Because it can only come when you can still the mind. And that's a practice. That's not something that comes easy. It's something you have to practice every day.
Absolutely.
So if you do want to practice that, you can go to theobros.com/meditate or click the link in the description. And you can sign up for free and do it 5 minutes a day for 5 days and check it out.
100% agree with you. Meditation helps you get better at trusting your gut, for sure.
Trust that gut.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We love you.